Chainlink is on a mission to connect people, a mission to connect societies, a mission to connect countries. Because the connected world is a flourishing world. And this isn't just an idea or a slogan I'm using here to sound nice. It's a reality. Our very histories are a witness to it. Just look at the world we inherited. Our world was built on connections. Post-World War II, we connected every single country through trade. With the rise of the internet and the digital age, we've been connecting every single country and society through information. And now, with the cryptographic age, with Bitcoin, we're aiming to connect every individual through money. Throughout these decades, what was the result? We've seen more growth around the world in a few years than in centuries combined. Average people today live better than kings of old. Now, you have to ask, though, all this change, all this growth, where is it leading us? You see, growth always comes with challenges. And one of the cruel ironies of history is that the more growth you get, the bigger your challenges become. Today, we are faced with 3 existential challenges, which are putting every single thing we've inherited into question. The first one is linked to information. You all know we are living in a society flooded by information. Information inflation is a phenomena of our age. With AI, with social media, information has never been so powerful. It's able to shape the very realities you see. Now, you have to ask, when you go online, whose reality are you watching? Is it yours? Is it mine? Is it a fake or manufactured reality? You see, that's a very important question, because with information inflation, objective truth starts disappearing. What's real and what's not starts getting blurred. And this is a very important point. Most financial crises, up to our day, have started with information and reality getting blurred. From the GFC in 2008 to FTX, closer to home, it's always the same pattern happening over and over again. Information today is a very powerful weapon. It can be wielded for good or for bad. When you work on technology, your goal is to ensure information is used for the good of our societies. For this, information needs to be verifiable. It needs to be transparent. It needs to be neutral. It cannot be manipulated. This is the first challenge. The second challenge relates to money. All of this growth all over the world has been sustained through unprecedented levels of money printing. And now, throughout the world, you're seeing the same reality. Inflation is no longer theoretical. It's no longer a concept you hear about on the news. It's a reality when you go to the grocery shop, when you go to the gas station, even when you travel. Most countries now are experiencing double-digit, triple-digit inflation. Hyperinflation leads to hyper inequality. Those with assets keep getting richer and richer. Those without keep getting poorer and poorer. The result, society is more divided today than ever before. We need better money. Money that unites people instead of dividing them. Money is the energy of a society. If it's stable, society is stable. When it starts breaking, societies start breaking. The third challenge, and we will see this throughout history, when a society becomes unstable outside, it reverberates outside. It reverberates outside in the way it deals with other countries, other societies. Our third challenge is linked to trade. We inherited a world that was connected, countries trading with each other. This is not the case anymore. More and more, we are seeing an age of fragmentation. Countries are more and more having conflicts with each other instead of trades. Mistrust has become the rule of the game in many cases. We need to adapt to this new reality. For global trade to happen in the future, we will need neutral infrastructure. These are the challenges of our time, and these challenges have truly brought us to, in many ways, the brink of the abyss. We are now standing at a crossroads. We can keep going down that path we've been on, division, fragmentation, regression, or we can go down another path, one of connection, one of growth. This path is blockchains. Why? Because blockchains solve all the challenges of our time. Information asymmetry, it doesn't exist on-chain. On-chain, information is verifiable. We all get access to the same data, the same truth, the same ledger. You could ask 8 different countries the weather in New York today. You would get 8 different answers. You ask them the state of the Bitcoin ledger, they will give you one single answer. Hyper inequality, it doesn't exist on chains. Blockchains don't care where you're born, where you're from, if you're rich, if you're poor, if you're retail, government institution. On-chain, we all play by the same ground rules. Mistrust between countries, inside societies. Blockchains are fully neutral. They belong to no one. They're ran by no country. They're ran by no individual. They belong to no one. They do serve everyone. Now, blockchains, just like our world, in order to grow, need to be connected. They need to be connected to information because you need to make information verifiable. They need to be connected to money so we can create better money. And they need to be connected to payments so we can have global trade on-chain. This is where Chainlink comes in. Chainlink is on a mission to connect blockchains so we can fulfill the potential of blockchains. Starting with information. When we put information on-chain, this information is fully verifiable. It's fully transparent. Everyone gets access to the same truth. No information asymmetry here. This is why today, DeFi is built on Chainlink. More than 70% of our space uses Chainlink data to price assets on-chain today. This is up from 50% earlier this year. Since the very first day we started putting data on-chain, we've secured over $27 trillion in transaction value. We work with 500 protocols, securing today more than $100 billion in value. Now, behind all of this growth is our go-to-market team. Our go-to-market team has been a win-win machine for the space. We work with tens of thousands of builders to connect them to the data they need in order to grow. We co-design with them, we solution with them. When they win, we win. When they grow, we grow. The second stage of connection for our space is not connecting crypto to more crypto. It's connecting the global financial system to our DeFi space. This is where DataLink comes in. DataLink is our path to connecting the world's largest financial institutions to the blockchain through their data. We're working with Tradeweb, we're working with S&P Rating, we're working with FTSE Russell, with Deutsche Börse. We're working actually with many, many more. Some of them announced, some of them not announced yet. With all of these institutions, our main goal is if we put their data on-chain, we now enable TradFi workflows on-chain, tokenized repos, equities, derivatives. Once we get all of these use cases on-chain, we enable on-chain capital to flow into our space. This data is being match-made with some of the best builders in our space, in the derivative space. We are working with derivative exchanges, innovating on this data, and here we've seen a phenomena which keeps repeating itself. The more data we bring on-chain, the more builders we get on-chain. In just the last 2 weeks, we've announced 9 new partners using this data on-chain. I do want to give a special headlight today to Lido. Lido is one of the largest derivative exchanges in the space. They're now using our data to be able to price gold, silver, and many other commodities coming from the real world to the blockchain through this data. Now, we're seeing some pattern here, right? The more connections we create, the more the space grows. And this has been the very same phenomena since we first started providing data back in 2019. In 2019, this space did not exist. You had nothing on-chain. It was a desert. Once we started putting data on-chain, lending protocols started being able to build on-chain. It gave rise to DeFi Summer in 2020. Once we started putting data streams on-chain with low latency information, we enabled the age of on-chain perpetuals. And now, with DataLink, we're able to ensure institutional use cases can be built on-chain. Same formula over and over again. When you put new data on chain, you usher in a new age of growth for our space every single time. The next age for our space won't be about only more data. It will be taking our space from a few $100 billion it is today to trillions of dollars. How do we do that? Tokenization. Equities, stocks, ETFs, all of them coming on chain, all of them getting into DeFi. And tokenization, just like information, requires connections. And just like information, we provide the connections to make this tokenization happen. A tokenized asset is a connected asset. You need to connect it to its proof of reserve to ensure it's fully backed. You need to connect it to every chain to ensure this tokenized asset can flow everywhere. And you need to connect it to compliance and identity frameworks to ensure it can get into DeFi. Here again, we make all of these connections happen. Why do I need transparency, proof of reserve in my tokenized asset? Well, this headline answers why, okay? $300 trillion printed on chain by a fat finger mistake. This should never happen. With proof of reserve, it doesn't have to happen. Proof of reserve caps the supply of your asset to its reserves. If you think about it, it's actually the first time in history when we've had money that can be provably backed by something and cannot be over-minted. Proof of reserve is a requirement for tokenization. It's a win-win for everyone. It's a win-win for asset issuers to ensure they're not associated with this type of headline. It's a win-win for DeFi protocols to ensure they never have to worry about 300 trillion coming into their protocol and draining all the money. And it's a win for tokenized asset holders, so they know they won't get inflated into oblivion. Because of that, proof of reserves is getting adopted by the whole space. We have today more than $52.5 billion utilizing proof of reserves on chain. Once your tokenized asset is issued on chain, you want to get utility on it. You don't want this tokenized asset to just sit on chain doing nothing, right? You want it to get yield. You want it to be used as collateral to be able to borrow on top of it. This is where Aave comes in. The biggest blocker to connecting tokenized assets to DeFi up to now has been compliance. With Aave, this blocker is no more. With Aave, we are able to connect a tokenized asset to its compliance, regulatory frameworks, identity frameworks, to ensure any tokenized asset can now flow into DeFi. And here again, this is a win-win product. It's a win for DeFi protocols because they can get more tokenized assets into their protocol and grow from billions of dollars to trillions of dollars. It's a win for tokenized assets because now their asset can have utility on chain. Now, once you're able to do that, you have your tokenized asset, it's on chain, it's accruing yield. You want your asset to flow on every chain, right? This is where CCIP comes in. CCIP is our cross-chain solution. It's not only a cross-chain solution, though. CCIP is the only cross-chain solution in the space that's used both by TradFi and by DeFi. Not only does it connect your asset to every single chain, whether it's a public chain, a private chain, a government chain, it also connects the DeFi world and the TradFi world. Because of that, CCIP, again, is a win-win for everyone. It's a win-win for TradFi, it's a win-win for DeFi, and because of that, it's getting adopted by both. We are being used by some of the largest DeFi protocols in the space today. We actually have a super exciting announcement, which I wanted to have on this slide. It's coming up tomorrow, related to CCIP on the DeFi side. On the TradFi side, we are working also with some of the largest institutions, from Fidelity to ANZ to many others, to be able to connect these two worlds together. Now, tokenization has been enabled through connections. The more connections you get, the more you grow. And we're really seeing this example with CCIP. With CCIP, we see the same pattern happen over and over again. Whenever you get a tokenized asset on CCIP, you connect it to more distribution. You connect it to more chains. You connect it to more DeFi protocols, to more holders. As a result, tokenized assets grow 3, 4, 5x in size a few months after they get connected through CCIP. And you have a few examples here. We have many, many more to show for. All of this growth, all of these connections have led tokenization from being a pipe dream we were discussing a few years ago to a reality. Tokenization is happening everywhere. Asset by asset, market by market, the whole world is getting tokenized. And truly, this is actually great news. If you go behind all the buzzwords that people use for tokenization, etc., tokenization at the end of the day is better money. It's transparent money. It's money that's global. It's money that anyone can access. It breaks down the silos between countries and inside societies. Money is the energy of this world. When you make money better, you make the whole world better as a result. That's why tokenization is such a big deal. And that's why we've been working on it for many, many years. Today, Chainlink is the only platform that provides all the tooling you need in order to make tokenization happen. From proof of reserve to compliance with Aave, to nav data, to cross-chain, to many, many other connections. We are the only ones who have been able to create this platform because we've been working on tokenization for the last 7 years. Now, once you get tokenized money, in order to scale it even more, you need to have tokenization into global trades, global finance. And this is really the last piece of the puzzle for us. Once all of the world's money is on-chain, all of the world's trade will also happen on-chain. And for that to happen, you need to connect every payment solutions to the blockchain. We are working here again with some of the world's largest institutions to see what is the outline of global trade on-chain going to look like. I want you to notice one pattern here. 2 countries, 2 banks, 2 blockchains. That's the way it will work. Every single country, every single bank will have their own digital asset infrastructure. And in order to trade with each other, they will need a neutral connector in between. Chainlink CCIP, in this example, is the neutral connector. We have similar examples between Singapore and Australia, ADGX and ANZ. Again, same pattern. It's the pattern which really matters here. 2 countries, 2 banks, 2 blockchains, 1 neutral connector, CCIP. We are entering a new era. An era where all the world's information, all the world's money, all the world's payments will be on-chain. Chainlink has been working for the last 7 years to make this era actually come true. Now, why do we want this era to come true? We truly believe that blockchains are a solution to all the challenges of our times. But not only are they a solution to these challenges, they make these weaknesses of our day actually become strength. When you make information verifiable, not only do you tackle one of the biggest issues of our time, you also ensure the future is written not by those who control the information, but by those who actually make it truthful. When you create better money, not only do you help solve inequality, solve some of the biggest challenges of our era, you also ensure our societies will be more stable in the future. When you create trade on-chain, not only do you adapt to the new global reality where countries don't trust each other anymore, you also ensure the future will be made up of trade and connections rather than divisions and conflicts. What we do here really, really matters. And it's really up to us. You don't choose anything in this life. You don't choose what words you inherit. You don't choose your challenges. You don't choose your fights. The only thing you choose is how you actually react to them. And we have 2 paths here. We're at a crossroad as a society. One path is division. The other is connection. One path is universal growth for our world. The other is universal regression. Well, we've made our choice, and more people around the world are making this choice with us every single day. In only the last 2 weeks, we've announced more than 145 new partnerships. In only 2 weeks. And it's not only in Web3. With institutions, asset managers, index providers, we are seeing blockchains works with us. We are seeing tokenization platforms. The whole world is getting on board with this vision. And for the people who've been working on this, in this space for the last 7 years, you will know it's not an easy space to work in. It wasn't always this way, right? For many years, our space was shunned. It was mocked. People left it. Well, for the people who stuck up with us and kept working on these key existential issues, I want to say, at the end of the day, the only thing which will matter beyond all the short-term problems will be our collective imprint on society. Ours will have to build a new society, one which is connecting people, one which is connecting societies, one which is connecting countries, because the connected world is a flourishing world. Thank you very much.